welcome back to Dive Time Dota's Fastcast of the International 2016. We're back with OG versus MVP Phoenix in the upper bracket quarterfinals. Game 2, MVP took a surprise win from OG in Game 1.
Yeah, and they did it on the back of Faceless Void. Some really good Chronospheres. So
And
they go
the
ahead
back of Darkseer. Darkseer was banned out.
Yeah, no, Darkseer was doing good work, but Faceless Void is something that you could build a team around the Chronos. I mean, you can build a team around Darkseer too, but Faceless Void is more important to the style of their Game 1 strat, and so they pick it first pick it in Game 2. Not too surprising.
Which team do you think is going to get Morana here? It got through the bans.
It's gotten through the bans.
I feel like it's got to be one of these two.
Well, OG needs some more cores. MVP Phoenix could use one more core. A clip or whatever the shadow. What's the old called on Marana?
Morana? God, Shadow of the Moon.
Whatever. The smoke move. I was gonna say the
that.
smoke move works really well with the Chronos. Like, just when it gets popped is the range that you can blink in or do your time walk in and drop the Chronos. So that makes sense. The Alchemist I think is a little surprising. Oh wow, and they go Veno here. So
it's kind of Ags game. I wonder if QO is gonna get some Ags for his buddies.
Yeah, very possible. OG goes Terrorblade for their right-click hard carry and a Naga. So one thing that we might want to keep an eye out here for is the Naga song has been used to shut down the Chronospheres a lot and turn fights that way. So keep an eye out for that. OG kind of trying to get a hard counter to a big team fight move. It's the Veno mid, interestingly.
Well, Morano's in the jungle. Maybe just
I
hanging out.
honestly
snagging.
never understand pros laning decisions. I mean, I know the conventions, and then they go against the conventions, and I just have to let the commentators tell me, the real commentators tell me why they're doing it like that.
Hey man, they're just making it up as they go along too.
Yeah, no, totally. So it's a Faceless offlane, solo offlane against a Terrorblade with an Oracle.
That sounds awful.
That doesn't sound fun for anyone involved, actually. The Faceless is getting harassed beyond his tier 1.
Arrow gets first blood!
Yeah, first blood on Marana with a good arrow. Really good arrow. But we're seeing a lot of action top here. And by seeing a lot of action, I mean the camera's focusing on top, so that's what we're going to talk about. Looks like bot. I don't see any Dire in bot lane, so it's just free farm for the Alchemist. That seems dangerous to me. Looks like the Naga just went and rotated back in though, so maybe she was just doing some flash farming. Meanwhile, in the mid, the OD, that's a miracle OD, is working against the Veno and the constant harass of the Marana. It's tier 1, tower goes down top, very early, 5 minutes, 30 seconds.
For you.
Yeah. Faceless can't do much to defend that, but he'll buy some room to farm in that lane now. So not all bad news for MVP. Here's the fight mid. Oh yeah, OG imprisoning himself to save himself, but it ends up being a 3-for-3 trade, a big old fight in the mid. Did you catch who got a better trade there? I think it was probably a wash.
I mean, it doesn't even show the fight recap option. I don't know.
So
Couldn't tell you. Well, let's look at the graph.
Yeah, kills are
MVP's
4-4.
doing
Yeah, maybe MVP got a bit of a better
But
deal
just
on
tiny,
that.
if anything.
And OG diving past the tier 1 again this game, but doesn't find it. But then a follow-up kill on Marana as she looks to punish that dive. So pretty good move, counter move, counter move, I think is what we saw there. OG baiting out the response. That's a missed bubble. Chronos gets nobody, but OG does get cleaned up because of Marana ult, I think, probably. By OG getting cleaned up, I mean terribly falls.
Pretty sure Faceless's bruised ego that got that kill.
Smoke out from MVP from their Ancients, but I don't think it's a big movement here. Yeah, we just see the Venge kind of guarding the Faceless, who's fine. Meanwhile, OG goes in for the early Roche, and I don't see a contest happening yet.
They're not expecting this at all.
That's a nice early Roche. So OG has been ahead of the game a little bit. Got the first tower, got the first Roche, getting some getting some deep kills. So even though they're not too far ahead on the scoreboard, you got to think OG's doing pretty well. But then you turn the table and talk about MVP. They're in the lead in everything, and that's the ALK difference. Here's a dive deep. This is past the tier 2, and OG again trying to really push the issue. And they do have an earlier game lineup, just like last game, but it didn't work last game. So we'll see if they can wrap it up this game. Look at all the heals coming up for Oracle, from Oracle,
And this
keeping
time
this push alive.
keeping the mana full.
That's a good point. Mana and health. These pushes might not ever end. The Terrorblade feels like he's farmed up enough, I guess, because the 5-man pushes here and the tier 2 mid goes down. The Chronos comes through. I think there was a song, but OG lost 3, so whatever MVP did there, it worked. They only
lost 3 and Aegis. So OG is pushing in with a lot of sustain, but they're pushing into Acid Spray and Veno, and then a swap and an arrow.
You're right.
There's just all
MVP has a very strong lane defense, yeah.
All these walls.
So I guess the question becomes: does the Alchemist come online in time? Because I think
definitely doesn't want to let it.
OG's got the edge, in my opinion. But we'll see. I mean, you're right. The MVP has a lot of good things going for it. OG will find the Venge, and we'll lag. Broke everything.
Okay, we're back. Okay.
Wow. Yeah, we're not gonna fix that. So just apologies, and we'll try not to let that happen again.
I should have gone intel. Not bad.
The Alchemist takes down the tier 1 and pops some illusions. OG is pushing in response to that, and they'll take the Alchemist. So that's 3 MVP deaths. Coming off the back of a tier 1 take, probably not worth. OG again in position to possibly push, but they won't this time. There's only 1 outer tower remaining for MVP, and it's got a big Plague Ward defense.
But Batrider says, I don't like that.
Yeah, well,
stop doing that.
I'm gonna kill you, and then all your things will expire, or maybe we'll even farm them or something. So a good pick off there on the Veno, and OG still working their strat. You know, keeping push, keeping pressure, getting ganks with a stronger early game. The MVP smoked up, long walk bot. Doesn't look like they find anyone. The smoke is popped around the Roche pit. I'm not sure how it happened, or maybe it just expired, but here's the fight. OG gets 2 off of MVP, who didn't have a full team there, I don't think.
I was just busy pushing up top.
So that's a second Aegis for OG, and I think that'll probably be enough to get this last outer tower and maybe start the slow siege. Because yeah, OG really wants to cut off the farm of this Alchemist, and they'll be able to do that if they can start the slow siege. Alchemist will need to be there.
Alchemist just got his Octarine.
But OG is not hanging around. Yeah, Batrider does get a pick off on the Venge again. Chronos. The old Chronos pause.
I mean, this is a freaking LAN. They're on stage together. How much lag can there be?
Yeah, I don't know.
But whatever, my computer bugged out on that Veno ult back there, so maybe it's the faceless ult for the bug on Murano.
Murano's back. Ready, sorry. Alright.
Is he really, though?
Who knows? But Miracle dies. OG's OD dies after that pause. That OT. Thank you. And, alright, everyone's back at full strength. Action's mostly around the dire jungle.
Well, there's tier 1 for MVP safe lane.
Safe lane. Meanwhile, OG is going to take that last outer tower. The illusions are there. The siege has begun. Everyone's back in base. Alchemist has some illusions cutting off lanes, but the fight is
reset
here.
That blueberry.
Yeah, another one of those. Okay, and OG able to take just one, just the Venge, and it cost them the Aegis and the Terrorblade and the Naga. So the core is going down.
That's
MVP.
about as good of a defense as MVP can hope for.
Absolutely, and I think you're right. The high ground defense is really, really strong for MVP. So, but OG can't really make this game go any longer, or this Alchemist is going to get out of control. Do any of their heroes have a good Alch response? I don't think really. There's a Purge that you could put on his ult by the Oracle, but that's it.
OD can bottle him up for a second.
Yeah. Here comes the Chronosphere. Onto the OD. The OD lives. MVP loses their Veno, but OG's staying alive. Gets 2 more kills off the back end of that. Yeah, the sustain is there. That's 4 down for MVP.
Was greedy there for Oracle. Didn't have to die, but she jumped in, tried to Starfall and get out, but did not have the escape.
Alright, so OG decides bot lane is the lane we're going to push. A little bit of chip damage there, but MVP's back up.
Never mind, let's Roche.
And they're back. The double smoke out of smoke and Mirana ult out of MVP, and OG's
Nothing
there.
comes of it.
OG's there around the Roche pit. They're looking to counter, and actually just counter engage on the engagement in the Roche pit. There goes a courier.
20,000 on it too.
So yeah, I really like what OG's doing. Like really trying to predict the movements of MVP based on the information they're kind of giving them. Like, we're going to the Roche pit. Okay, so are we. Well, alright, we're not actually going to be in the Roche pit though.
Seems like MVP's moving as 5 just to give space for Alchemist to farm.
That's interesting.
Like, they're willing to fight
Threaten over here,
but
so
just
that
like make sure that there's a few camps that a big boy can grow up on.
Butterfly and Terrorblade, he's going to be hard to kill.
Terrorblade is pretty fat right now.
I doubt MVP has any MKBs. Alright, so, and just a quick note on the scoreboard. It's 23-11, so OG's more than doubled up MVP, and this is going to be a cheese Roche.
Song canceling out that ult again.
Yep, another great counter by OG, and they lose nobody, and they go move into counter, engage there, and they get 2, including the Faceless Void, so the song is working like a charm.
They lost their tier 2 top, but that's still a worthy trade.
Yeah, at this point, Alchemist is going to get those outer towers. You don't really care about them anymore. You just have to prevent the siege. OG, boop, there's a cheese Roche. So that's all 3 Roches on OG, if I recall correctly.
I do. You do.
I do recall correctly. You do agree. I think OG's kind of locked this one up.
Alk always has a chance.
Alk always has a chance,
you
but
give Ags
I think
to Mirana, you give Ags to Venom, you give Ags to Faceless, to Venge. It's all crazy. I mean, if
Ags on Mirana is going to hurt the Terrorblade illusions. There's a kill on the Mirana, and now the Faceless and the Venge and the Veno. So pick-offs galore for OG. They don't need a counter engage. They'll just find you roaming around the map. Here's
Miracle
the mid.
looked like he was out of position, and MVP thought they had a free lunch.
Miracle's never out of position, except for that one time in the last game. Down go the Rax mid, and they're going to try to get the bot ones too, the ones they worked on earlier. The defense shows up. There's another song canceling out bubble, and OG hasn't lost anyone, and they turn and get another set of Rax and a few more kills. This is it. MVP is bleeding out. Down goes Fly. Down goes Melee. Down goes Range Rax. So that's Megas. MVP's just fighting for show here, and the GG comes
I really
out.
like the international and this size of a prize pool requiring teams to keep fighting. Like, even through Megas, like, see what the hell happens.
I think if
There's
it's
a
an
chance.
elimination game, GG should be canceled. That's my personal preference, because really, GG, I mean, that's surrendering at a whole new level. But anyway, let's talk about the end of this game.
Series is 1-1, and we've got another one coming to you in just a second.
Yeah.